Mr. May,
Aye.
Mr. Joyce,
Aye.
Mr. Gregory. Unanimous. Thank you, council. Next, we have discussion of possible action on ordinance number 2021-09-14-B by the City Council of the City of Castle Hills, Texas, approving the Crime Control and Prevention District operating budget for fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022 and ending December 31st, 2022. Mr. Rapley.
Mayor, Council, if you have any questions, Chief Zuniga is here to answer them. CCPD approved this budget at their last meeting, and it's ready to be presented. We had the budget hearing last week, so it's ready for adoption. But if
Do
you
we have a
any-
copy of that budget?
It's in the packet there, sir.
Is it?
Mr. Isbrand.
Mayor, Council, I'd move approval of ordinance number 2121-09-14B, Crime Control and Prevention District Operating Budget.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Isbrand. Thank you, Mr. May with the second. All in favor? Item number 6.10. It was in your packet, like. Okay. Sure.
No, sir, that's not in the statute. The statute says the Crime Control Board has a timetable to approve its own budget. It then gets presented to the council. The council has two options. Either do what I believe it was Mr. Isbrand's motion, which is to accept the motion, accept the budget, or reject the motion. The council does not have the discretion to amend this budget at all. It can either accept it or send it back to the Crime Control District Board.
Mr. Gregory, do you have any more questions? Yes, sir. Okay, just to vote again, all in favor of approving the budget? Unanimous. Thank you, council. Lastly, of course, Mr. Gregory, that's what we're here for. 6.12, discussion and possible action on an appointment to the Board of Adjustment. Mr. Isbrand.
Mayor and Council, my appointee to the Board of Adjustment, Natari Jones Gunter, has stepped down due to business and other obligations. With that vacancy, I would like to make an appointment tonight, and I would appoint Cassidy Olivares to the Board of Adjustment. Ms. Olivares and her husband David live on Cobblestone. They both work here in Castle Hills. They have a 9-year-old son, 2 7-year-old twins. Clearly very committed to the city, and I think she'll be an excellent representative. So that would be my appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Isbrand. I don't believe that requires any kind of a confirmation vote, so we will proceed to announcements of mayor and city council members on items of community interest. Mr. Isbrand.
Just real quickly, since we didn't have the time when we were going through it, I want to extend my personal thanks to Mr. Rapley and to city staff for the excellent work that they did on preparing the budget. I know how extraordinarily difficult it was without a finance director here and how much went into it. So I thank city staff for the great job. Thank you.
Mr. Paul. Mr. May.
Briefly, the Castle Hills Historical Society will have its first big event, and that will be the Sunday after this Sunday on the 26th. We were at 49 people RSVP'd. We needed 50 to push it over the edge, and I think we're going to make that by our deadline. Those on the dais tonight that want to go, you need to tell me and pony up. so we can get you on the roll. I think we're gonna have a good event, and it's one of the first times the veranda has opened up all the forums so that we can see the origins of our Castle Hills community, which is the Slimp residents. And then, of course, we have the open to the public displays, the historical presentations earlier in the day that are free. And just talk to me later if you want a ticket.
Thank you, Mr. May. Mr. Joyce?
Just a reminder that the Comprehensive Plan Committee will be hosting workshops, which will be facilitated by our architects. And the first one will be on October 14th, which is a Thursday evening at 7 p.m. here in Council Chambers. The second one, which will be sort of a repeat, will be Monday, the 18th at 5:30. So would love to have you all come if you can make it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gregory?
I want to concur in Mr. Isbrand's remarks about Mr. Rapley. Under the conditions that we've had to deal with the last year, it's extraordinarily good work you've done on this budget. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. I too would like to thank Mr. Rapley and the department heads for all the work that they've done to put in this budget together. It's on top of being a difficult year, the budget was a little bit more difficult, and we also had Ms. Fegans out, and we send our best wishes as she's recovering from her illness. That being said, I am looking forward to seeing Mr. Mr. May's work and all the committee as a part of the anniversary party, and I will be there with my much better half and look forward to celebrating the history of Castle Hills. Mr. Rapley, any comments?
No, Mayor. Council, thank you for everything.
No, it's not an announcement. That being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. May.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Okay, we have a first by Mr. May, a second by Mr. Paul. All in favor? Unanimous. It is 9:14. The meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight.